Hello, Asylum. Tonight's informative tale isn't actually a tale at all. Have you ever wanted to hunt down one of those things that go bump in the night? Well, ThatGuySalem on Reddit has you covered. He's written somewhat of an instruction manual, shall we say. It's called Hunting the Unnatural for Dummies. I've been doing this for a while now, intermittently with reading Reddit, of course. Some of the first-hand encounters here have helped me with my work, but I've noticed a distinct lack of guides, rules, anything to actually offer help with the job itself. So after reading so many accounts of other people doing what I do, I've decided to make something of a guide for the few of us that have recently decided to take up the hobby that is monster hunting. I'm not some grizzly-scarred veteran. In fact, I'm only 23, but I've been doing this for a while now, so you can listen to what I say or ignore it completely. I don't really care. I just figured that with all of us doing the same job, someone might as well offer some assistance, right? Anyway, introductions aside, I think the biggest misconception about this job is the things that we hunt, the things that go bump in the night are always some evil creature waiting to gobble up your family. Not everything out there is evil, guys. But what can make these things go from harmless to rip your spine out through your asshole can be as simple as a misplaced .270 Winchester. You should always keep your eyes peeled for what you're going after. Sure, something like a black dog or a rougarou is evil, but that thing that looks like a tree with arms and a face that's just trying to look over the land to keep it safe from assholes that leave their plastic bottles and cigarette butts laying around, that thing isn't dangerous, at least not inherently. Sure, there are cases of lessons lashing out and killing, but those are few and far in between. Shooting one, though, that's a good way to have the wrath of nature come crashing down on your ass. So consider rule number 1. Know the difference between harmful and harmless. It can definitely save you a lot of pain, as well as some money. Bullets and guns are expensive nowadays, and the types of bullets and guns we need are even more expensive. Rule number 2 may seem simple, but you'd be surprised how many people screw this one up. Always know your monster. Yes, there are differences between a fleshgate and a skinwalker. And just because a skinwalker, fleshgate, and wendigo all share the same emaciated, shriveled, pale appearance doesn't mean that they're all the same thing. You'd think after spending the better part of 16 or so years in school, you'd learn not to judge by appearance alone. Just because something looks similar to another doesn't mean they share the same weaknesses, resistances, abilities, etc. And I've seen that sort of thing be the cause of a lot of deaths. Knowing the difference between if something is weak to, let's say, a silver 308 round, as opposed to something as simple as an axe, can, and lighter, can not only save you money for future hunts and, living a life, but can also save you the hassle, which leads directly into rule number 3. If it seems like too much, it's too much. You're not the star of some action movie. You're not Tom Cruise or Tom Holland. The most risky stuff you can try to pull when hunting monsters is that flashy movie bullshit. Don't try and play cat and mouse with the dog man, or try and knife fight the vampire, because that will almost always get you killed. If it's as simple as shooting it, then please, just shoot it. Because I've lost way too many friends who thought they could go toe-to-toe with the supernatural and became brunch because of it. Anyway, something that a close friend of mine taught me during my first year or so of this business is that thinking you're some Billy Badass lone wolf can and always will go wrong. So consider rule number 4. Bravado. It'll almost always end with you dead. Most of the time the monsters we hunt can be as simple as a crawler or something as terrifying as a skinwalker. And a rule that you'd be surprised that most hunters don't follow is that if a monster seems even slightly out of your league, contact another hunter. It doesn't matter if they're Earl the hillbilly with the 500 nitro that's dating his sister wife cousin, or Maverick, the dedicated NRA member and anti-ATF guy with the rifle and handgun for every day of the week. Help is help, and you'll need all you can get. Friends, they're the best thing you can have in this business, and it's even better if they're monster hunters themselves. Not only does it keep you sane knowing you're not alone, but it can keep you alive. I cannot stress this rule enough. Get friends, people, and socialize. It could save your life. Now, this rule could sound a lot like one of the previous ones, but rule number 5 is violence may not always be the answer. Just because something may look 50 shades of freaky doesn't mean that it, like most sentient things, can't be reasoned with. A hunt can end just as easily as words as it can bloodshed, and sometimes the best hunts end with a few words. This rule can go hand in hand with both rule number 1, number 3, and number 4. A monster can be just as good of a contact as a person, and who knows better about monsters than another monster? Also, me personally, if I can end a hunt with words over bullets, I will almost always do this. Maybe it's because I'm lazy, or maybe it's because I'm a softie. This is a rule almost always overlooked by veteran monster hunters, the crotchety few that think their opinion matters over others because they have a facial scar, an alcohol addiction, and way too much free time between jobs. On to rule number 6, and this is a big one amongst our people. Secrecy. Yes, there is no way to keep normal people completely in the dark about what we do, because it isn't always just us who run into these things. Most often than not, it's actually the average day-to-day Joe that runs into the thing that goes bump in the night. However, we try our best to keep what we do, however, as secret as we can. And no, it isn't because it's part of some big government cover-up. A big part of it has to do with public safety. Sure, there are the people that believe in monsters and the supernatural, but a better part of the world doesn't. And probably shouldn't. Sure, there are jobs we didn't or couldn't manage to get to. I can't say for sure if society government cover-ups here and there, but a better part of those are what would collapse if they knew all those scary stories and tales were real. But I'm sure there would be a lot less people going out and probably an uncomfortably large amount of cults springing up based around these various ghouls and ghosts. And our final rule? Rule number 7 is as simple as always be prepared for the job. It could take anywhere from a few days to a few weeks to a few months depending on the job, but it never hurts to be prepared. In fact, it may hurt worse to not be prepared as opposed to prepared. Always try to stack up on food, ammunition, equipment, firearms, weapons, and more weapons. If you're in a vehicle, try and slap some sheet metal onto it. Reinforce the windows. Get a roll cage. The works. If it feels like you're missing something, you probably are. If you feel like you're under-equipped, you most definitely are. Never be afraid to carry more than you thought necessary. Even something as simple as a rake or Sasquatch could kill you if you go in missing even one piece of equipment. Anyway, that's the long and short of it. Sorry about the odd amount of rules, but these are the ones I never see anyone talk about for whatever reason. I'm always here off and on between jobs, so if you want any more of my rules, or just more background information regarding my jobs and the unique people I've met during these jobs, then the comments are open for requests and questions.
Well, Asylum, I sure did find that helpful. I hope you did too. And just like ThatGuySalem said, if you have any questions or want more rules, you can find the link below. And if you have a tale that you would like narrated by me, you can reach me at justmygemini@gmail.com. Until next Friday, good night. And don't let the monster under the bed bite.